Care products. So we definitely have to take care of our hair. Internally, we've spoken enough about it, but yet we've not spoken enough about it, but we've spoken sufficient for you to start being action takers. Now we're talking about the external care of products, what all is possible and what all is necessary. In this, we will not be covering the dandruff shampoos because that has already been covered. We are talking about how to take care of hair when it is healthy so that it stays healthy for longer. So the sulfate-free shampoos, the non-sulfated variety or the variety that does not contain sulfate is one thing that you must always remember to use. Whenever you buy a shampoo, please make sure that it does not contain sulfates in it. It will say sulfate-free on the label, or the name sodium lauryl ethyl sulfate should not be on the top 3 ingredients, because this is the surfactant which cheap, or rather value for money cleansers use. Yes, we can still buy a value for money cleanser, but a lot of cleansers which are very popular in the market and which have been popular for the last many years are using the sodium lauryl ethyl sulfate, which not only cleanses your grease and grime but also strips your hair of the natural oils, and it can disrupt the pH balance of the scalp and the hair. And we see that almost like an epidemic, everybody's hair is getting frizzier and frizzier by the day. So if you switch to a sulfate-free shampoo and you make sure that you're using only a sulfate-free shampoo for maybe 6 weeks every time you wash your hair, you will see that the frizziness of your hair changes in as little as 6 weeks. Here I'll have to tell you that the shampoo can only contain a non-sulfated cleanser. It need not contain too many fancy ingredients because the shampoo is just a wash off product. So if you're paying exorbitantly because your shampoo contains a lot of aroma oils and a lot of vitamins and a lot of honey and other complexes, I would rather skip all those fancy complexes. I would use that in my conditioner or serum or mask because that stays for much longer on my hair, and I would not use it in my shampoos. I would use a basic shampoo which is value for money but which doesn't use sulfate as the primary cleanser. And now I would use a shampoo and a conditioner separately. Think about it, a shampoo has more role on the scalp. It is supposed to clean your scalp, it is supposed to remove the dirt and the grease and the grime and whatever sebaceous secretions that your scalp may have, and a conditioner is supposed to coat your hair. But for sake of convenience, we are using a shampoo plus conditioner. Most of the times that's how the market has presented it to us. But if we think even logically and scientifically, putting both the products together is not really a good idea, because how can you coat and cleanse at the same time? So you're probably compromising on both. Secondly, a shampoo has its primary role only on the scalp. Your hair doesn't need a lot of shampoo. If you're cleaning your scalp and you're just running your fingers through your hair, and then you're standing under the shower, you're using running water to clean your hair will get very easily cleansed. And unless you've oiled your hair or something like that, it's pretty easy to clean your hair even without using a lot of shampoo. And conditioner, it is strictly recommended that conditioner is not used on the scalp. Conditioner is just used to coat the hair, primarily the lower ends of the hair where the natural oils don't reach. So then if you're using a shampoo plus conditioner, you're kind of disrupting the whole ecosystem because it doesn't make logical sense. So I would strongly recommend buying a shampoo only and a conditioner only. All the bigger brands, which are salon specific brands or even pharmaceutical brands that medical doctors endorse, use a shampoo and conditioner separately. None of the pharma products have a shampoo plus conditioner generally, because logically it's not the best thing to do. Also, I said this, that paying exorbitantly for a shampoo because it has some forest honey or it has a lot of aroma oils or it has certain infused vitamins into it, whether we are talking about a face wash or we're talking about a shampoo, to me this again is not a very logical thing to do, because a shampoo can stop hair breakage, but a shampoo cannot really strengthen your hair or strengthen your hair roots, because that's not its mode of action. So all we expect from a shampoo is cleansing, and cleansing without disrupting the pH, and cleansing without making the hair too dry. So adding too many fancy ingredients in a shampoo which increases the cost of a shampoo is not really needed. So sometimes when it comes to shampoo, shampoos, conditioners and serums, I get very cost conscious. The reason is because this is not like a styling tool. I would buy a very expensive styling tool because I would probably use it for the next 5 or 7 years, many times, and I will not have to invest in it again. But these are consumable goods and you need to keep buying them, and you need to keep buying them again and again. So we have to make sure that what are we paying for and whether it's really worth paying for those ingredients. So with a conditioner, it depends on the hair type. So not everybody requires a conditioner. Conditioner is required for people, like not everybody very regularly requires a moisturizer. People can do without a moisturizer. Depends on the skin type, though it's not recommended that you do without a moisturizer because that causes aging. We will discuss these things later. But then if your hair quality is such that it's very fine, it falls very it just falls, you don't need a conditioner, you know about it. Also certain seasons the conditioner becomes a must, like in the monsoon your hair gets more frizzy than normal, whereas for most people it behaves reasonably well in the winter, especially if you're not living in an extremely cold place or something. If you're in a moderately cold place, hair behaves well in the winters. Hair can behave pretty well in the summers too. It's only the monsoon that increases the frizz for some people. For some people, they do have wavy hair or curly hair where a conditioner becomes a mandatory thing to use. So depending on your predisposition, depending on how your hair texture is, you may or may not require a conditioner. You may require in certain seasons, you may not require in certain seasons. Somebody may want to use a conditioner every single time they wash their hair, whereas some people may say once a week I condition and I'm pretty okay with it. So I think it's pretty easy to understand. It depends on the hydration of your hair, the way your hair holds water, and also preferences. So some people like to condition their hair, some people like to apply a lot of serum on their hair because they feel very uncomfortable with big hair. They feel that it should look extremely neat and extremely sorted, whereas some people like the bedhead kind of look. Some people are comfortable with big hair. So you can always ask yourself, what are your preferences? How much oiliness or weighing down of hair do you personally like? And if you are somebody who likes it with the conditioner, perfectly fine. And if you are somebody who feels that I don't want to condition so much, my hair looks too small with conditioner, it kind of reduces the volume of my hair, I like to have slightly big looking hair, you can use a conditioner. So it's a absolutely personal choice. A conditioner doesn't have too much relation to the health of the hair. A good conditioner will prevent breakage of hair and will coat the hair and make it look good, beyond which using or not using a conditioner is not going to affect the overall quality of the hair or the hair root really. Now coming to what are the other things you need to know about a conditioner. So somebody who's looking at a basic conditioning can use a lotion based conditioner. So lotion based conditioner will contain less oils and less butters. It will contain, basically a conditioner is supposed to contain some kind of natural oils, essential fatty acids, something that holds the moisture, a bit of protein. But in a lotion form, the concentration of these ingredients, especially the oils, is lesser. So for a routine use and for a regularly nice hair which just needs a conditioner to kind of enhance the shine and enhance the softness of the hair, one can use a lotion based conditioner. Whereas if somebody has a curly hair or frizzy hair or treated hair, or hair has become overly dry because of overuse of styling tools, then you can use a butter based conditioner which contains cocoa butter, shea butter, mango butter. So these butters are used in conditioners. These butters give more oil, more coating, and they give more weight to every strand of hair because the coating is a lot more than a lotion based conditioner. So then it kind of settles your hair down a lot better. Or else there are certain mask based conditioners. Generally these mask based conditioners are very high and rich in ingredients, contain more oils and glycerine and humectants, and these mask conditioners generally are like hair spas. People use them once in 15 days or once a month, and then they keep them on, do a hot towel treatment. So it's like a more extensive pampering. So you can choose depending on the quality of your hair and the needs of your hair and your lifestyle, how you're treating your hair otherwise, which one is right for you. probably little bit of trial and error is needed, because we have personal likes and dislikes. So you can try each one of them once you get an understanding what might be right for you, and in a very little time you will come to know that which one is the best for you. Now about hair packs. So these again, in the hair segment and in the salon segment, terms are interchangeably used and terms are loosely used. So some people call it a hair mask, some people call it a hair pack. So sometimes there's a question that is a mask only for the scalp or only for the hair, or should it be applied, where should it be applied? So there are a lot of these questions, and there are no proper answers to these questions because there's no standardization of the terminologies used. So some people use the name hair mask for a hair pack. So there are certain ingredients available in the market, because hair care is something that has been happening in centuries, and people have used a lot of natural ingredients like fenugreek and bringraj and curry leaves, and these things have their own, time tested. Everybody has been talking about their benefits in hair. So you do get a lot of hair packs, which are also known as hair masks, which are a combination of all these herbal or natural, or some of them call them even Ayurvedic, but these are time tested ingredients which are put together, created into a paste form with some butters and oils, and these kind of hair packs can be used on both the scalp and the hair. So there are some only conditioners which have no role to use on the scalp, because their work is only coating, and these hair packs are a combination of coating and nourishing. They can be used on the hair as well as the scalp, and a lot of hair packs give a good sheen to the hair. They also contain a lot of natural oils and essential oils. So it's a good idea to try these hair packs once in 15 days or once in a month, or for somebody who is more keen or has a lot more damage, they can even use it once a week. But to me, overspending on any of these products and expecting your hair to get healthier from the root is never a good idea. I would spend on my collagen supplements. I would spend on very good quality hair multivitamin, because the external things, however good they are and whatever best ingredients they contain, can only do that much. They will not be able to transform you at a root level, whereas collagen supplements and tablets and healthy lifestyles transform you at root level, but then the results take very, very long. So in the new age that we are living in, we don't wait that long to see the results. So sometimes if we don't see results in as little as 3 or 4 weeks, we start doubting, is it really working for me? I think this is not working for me. I should change something. So because of this attitude, I think the best thing to do will be to do a combination of both, so that within 6 weeks at least there is some progress that a person sees, because unfortunately what years of damage has caused cannot be repaired in a very few days or weeks. But yes, if you use an inside approach with an external support, then some kind of positivity starts showing, and especially the positivity is more if you stop doing the wrong things which are actually damaging your hair. So this is about the hair packs. So I would recommend a hair pack. They are available in jars, they are available in powders. They are mostly available not in pharma companies but in natural product companies, and they contain a lot of positive things. But if they are very, very expensive, then you need to know that you are indulging in this expense, and this will not replace your healthy food or healthy multivitamin. Also, then we come to serums. I think people who have frizzy hair, everybody has frizzy hair these days. It's a combination of the way the environment is, the amount of pollution we are living in. Also, a lot of people are dieting in between. People were staying away from oils. So a lot of things put together has caused frizziness of hair. In fact, we have discussed this, that the most important thing that has caused most of the people to have frizzy hair is, for a very long time, almost more than a decade, everybody has been using sulfates in their shampoos, and this using sulfate in their shampoos so often has kind of removed the natural oils from the hair. So now it's time to replenish these oils. So argan oil or virgin coconut oil are very, very light oils. So these oils not just coat the hair, but a part of these oils can also penetrate into the hair strands. These are oils that are applied not to the root of the hair. Right now we are talking about not so much about nourishing products. This whole chapter is more focused on how your hair looks. So we're talking about the hair strands. So these oils are primarily applied to the shaft of the hair, and like a conditioner, so they give an additional hydration or an additional nourishment beyond the conditioner. But you need to buy really light oils that are not very viscous, because these light oils do not weigh your hair down like a sticky oil would. It doesn't make your hair look oily, but at the same time it gives enough essential fatty acid and nourishment to the hair, which improves the elasticity and the bounce of the hair, which reduces its frizz, which makes it less breakable. So one can invest in an argan or a vegetable coconut or virgin coconut oil also. The main thing that you need to check before you buy it is how sticky is it, because if it is too sticky, then it may weigh your hair down. A very small quantity has to be used and spread all over the hair. If your hair is really damaged or frizzy, or you're living in a place where there is too much humidity, you could even use it every day. These things can be used a very few drops on wet hair or dry hair, and over a period of time. So when I say over a period of time, I think in 3 to 6 weeks you definitely see a benefit with them. Yes, these products are lifestyle products, they are luxury products, and with some brands which are the best marketed brands or the best brands available today, they are very, very expensive. So I would want you to go and look around and check a little. Probably online we will not be able to check the texture, but a little time looking at different brands and checking the texture and understanding little and asking me questions wherever necessary. I think what is really necessary to do is find the fine balance between what is cost effective and what is also effective for nourishing the hair. So there is that sweet spot which will be available. So that is what we need to find that out. Also aroma oils, so it's a very, very vast subject, but rosemary oil is quite healthy for the hair. Patchouli is another oil. So this is not the modern medical science, but since finally it's about getting results, and when we talking about conditioners and masks, anyways, this is not a part so much about medical textbooks. This is more about a holistic approach. So buying a rosemary oil or a patchouli oil or a lavender oil, I think these are the best 3 oils for the hair, especially for removing the dryness of the hair. So adding a few drops of this oil to your argan oil or virgin coconut oil can be helpful, can give added benefits. Also using a little water in a spray bottle and adding around a few drops, like 10 drops of one of these oils to that water, and shaking it and using that water from a distance to kind of cut down your frizz or just to settle your hair also could be a good idea. You could be using every day. Aroma oils have their own benefits. Again, you have to get a good quality pure aroma oil. Also you have to make sure that you're using it quite regularly over a period of time, because these are not those strong stimulants. These are natural ingredients which slowly and subtly make a positive difference to your life. Silicone oil, which we more commonly know as the Livon or other brands. Silicone oil is a good thing to use on the hair. It's an inert substance. Inert substance means it has no qualities at all, but then you can use it to coat your hair, because throughout this chapter we have understood that a lot of things just coat your hair. They do nothing, they just coat your hair. But even that coating of hair is finally giving you, it's cutting down your frizz, it's cutting down the fragileness or the brittleness of your hair. So then there is a benefit in coating your hair. So you can use Livon like substances if you want to coat your hair and to make it look a little more thicker because of the coating, to make it look less frizzy, to make it break less. Probably there are people who say that if you're applying something like a Livon in the hair, especially when you're on a beach or something like that, or you spend a day out in the sun is going to damage your hair also, like it damages your skin, because sun has dehydrating qualities. So then if you're using something to coat your hair, even the sun damage becomes less with that. So here I would like to make you understand that do not mix your argan oil or your coconut oil or your aroma oil in your silicone oil, because that's like an occlusive. So the initial oil penetrates into your hair shafts, whereas the silicone oil is a barrier which coats your hair shaft. So if to save some money, you're going to be mixing your argan oil with your silicone oil, then the silicone oil is not going to allow the argan oil to penetrate into the hair shafts. So the right way of doing it is, first take a few drops of argan oil or aroma oil, whatever you're using. Make sure that you're spreading it well into the hair shafts, and then you take this silicone oil, and this silicone oil can be used as a final coat. So you can use little of argan oil and little of silicone oil, which will balance your cost at the same time, which will give you the results that you're looking for. And argan oil, virgin coconut oil or aroma oil can be used at the scalp too, because it has multiple benefits. It's a nourishing ingredient, whereas the silicone oil has no role if used on the scalp. It is not going to nourish at all. It is just something that coats the hair shaft. So having understood these things, of course I'm open to questions. You're welcome to ask me as many questions you want on the Facebook group, and I will be so happy to answer all of them. Today I want you to understand that hair care requires a lot of steps, especially since we're living in a world that is so demanding and we are taking so many things for granted. So it's a good idea to think about a comfortably monthly budget for you, because you now know what are the products you will have to invest in to have healthy hair for life. So once we decide that yes, there is a price I have to pay, but this is a price that is comfortable to me, and then we start looking for the right products that we can fit in that budget, that will be the best, because doing this will make sure that you will be consistent in your hair care, and consistency is definitely a superpower when it comes to beauty and wellness.